Our built environment is shaped by standards. Standards for design, for products, for testing, for construction. To the industry, standards are a catalyst for every successful project. To most people, standards are invisible. Yet since the introduction of Eurocodes in 2010, every new building we enter, every new bridge we cross, and every new piece of infrastructure we rely on has been influenced by a silent but especially powerful framework of standards, the Eurocodes. The Eurocodes are the principal structural and geotechnical design standards used across the UK, influencing how professionals design safe, resilient buildings and civil engineering works. The information contained in the Eurocodes plays a critical role in the safety of people, assets and communities. They're fundamental to safe, consistent design across the built environment in the UK, Europe and increasingly around the world. I remember the days when we first discussed the regional harmonisation of design practices and created the first Eurocodes with national annexes. The publication of a second generation of the Eurocodes this year is a huge achievement by all the committees involved and will deliver a heightened level of benefits to industry. The second generation Eurocodes build on the framework of the first generation. Their aim is to improve consistency and usability while retaining UK-specific decisions through national annexes. They will become the main technical reference for UK structural design. In our role as the national standards body, BSI is proud to be a key player in shaping, supporting and implementing these standards in the UK. As a civil engineer myself, I'm especially pleased that we've reached this milestone, or kilometre stone as our European colleagues might describe it. Not everything is harmonised. The new second generation Eurocodes bring exciting opportunities which we will unpack for you in this video. Experts closely engaged with the process will explain what the update to the Eurocodes mean for the UK, how they link with regulation, and why now is the time to take action. Let me hand over to the experts who will explain the details. Thank you.
As chair of the UK National Committee B525, which oversees the UK's involvement in the Eurocodes, I would like to begin by thanking everyone who has contributed their time and expertise to drafting, commenting on and supporting the UK's response to the second generation Eurocodes. My primary message today is that the European level development of the second generation Eurocodes is now complete. All parts have been published on time, and this marks the start of a defined and time-bound transition period for the UK. This is a significant milestone and signals a shift from awareness to active preparation for those affected. With the full suite now available, those familiar with the first generation can see the complete structure of the second generation Eurocodes, how the content has been rationalised and clarified, and how the new suite fits together as a whole. At their core, the Eurocodes continue to provide a common technical language across Europe. From a UK perspective, it is important to recognise the level of involvement throughout this process. UK experts have played a significant role at European level, leading and contributing substantially to the development of the second generation Eurocodes. In the UK, we developed a plan for implementation and have been delivering against this, including the development of the UK National Annexes. An early step involved establishing a small, core group of experts to oversee the strategic planning and delivery of the Eurocodes in the UK, helping to ensure a clear and consistent approach to how UK documents are presented, covering format, terminology and overall layout. Through the national annexes, which allow individual countries to apply the Eurocodes in a way that reflects national safety levels, climate and construction practice, the UK retains the ability to set nationally determined parameters where discretion is explicitly permitted in the Eurocodes themselves. These national annexes, developed by UK experts, will be published progressively by BSI, providing the national context needed to support adoption in practice. This balance between harmonisation and national choice is one of the strengths of the Eurocode system, and it is central to how the UK implements them. While the importance of the Eurocodes to the UK is well understood, it is worth restating the key benefits. They are the default design basis for almost all major construction in the UK. Public sector projects in particular expect Eurocode-based designs, and most organisations now work to them exclusively. Like other European and international standards, the Eurocodes support international trade and market access by enabling designs, products and systems to be developed once and applied across multiple markets. As with the first generation, the Eurocodes remain central to UK design practice. With the second generation suite now complete, the focus must now be on preparation through awareness, planning and engagement, which will be key to achieving a smooth and well-managed transition to the second generation Eurocodes in the UK. A suitably comprehensive, coordinated programme of supporting activities has been prepared to underpin this transition.
My name is Julie Brigula. I chair the European Working Group on Robustness Provisions, and I have previously worked with the UK Government on both Generation 1 and Generation 2 of the Eurocodes. In England, buildings must be designed in accordance with the building regulations. These set out high-level functional requirements defining what buildings must achieve in areas such as health, safety, accessibility, security, and sustainability. For example, the regulations require that loads acting on a building are transferred reliably and safely to the ground. They are performance-based in nature and therefore do not set out how buildings should be designed to achieve this, instead defining the outcome that must be met. To complement this, the government publishes approved documents which provide guidance on specific aspects of design. Where followed, these can be relied upon as tending to demonstrate compliance with the building regulations in England. And references within approved documents have legal status.
I am Duncan Luke and I work for the Building Safety Regulator on Approved Document A, which deals with building structure. Over 30 individual parts of the first generation Eurocodes are cited currently in the approved documents, is providing appropriate technical guidance for meeting the building regulations, particularly in relation to structural and geotechnical aspects of building design. Eurocodes matter to us because they provide practical design rules to demonstrate compliance with legal requirements. We think the second generation Eurocodes are important because they reflect up-to-date engineering knowledge and enable a consistent approach to be taken to designing safer, more efficient buildings. Consequently, we are working on Approved Document A to remove references to the first generation Eurocodes and to reference the second generation instead. We will be publicly consulting and assessing the impact of any changes. Our current intention is to revise Approved Document A and reissue it to coincide with the withdrawal of the first generation Eurocode standards.
As chair of the European Committee SEN TC250, it has been my privilege to lead the work on the evolution of the second generation Eurocode since 2013. The second generation represents the largest standardisation programme ever of its kind. It has involved many thousands of experts from across Europe, and I'm sincerely grateful to everyone who has contributed to this collective effort. The purpose of the second generation is not to reinvent the Eurocodes, but to improve them, enhancing ease of use, incorporating the latest engineering knowledge and research, extending their scope, and embracing new societal expectations for sustainability, including accounting for climate change. Experienced users will recognise a strong degree of continuity with the first generation, alongside targeted changes intended to improve clarity, coverage, and usability. The expanded scope of the second generation Eurocodes means that they are now relevant to a wider range of users and structural applications, including some that were only partially covered under the first generation. This broader coverage brings new areas within the Eurocode framework for the first time, whilst maintaining continuity for users already familiar with the first generation standards. The new Eurocodes have been published progressively since 2023 and are now all available. They were delivered on time, with an exemplary level of international consensus achieved across 34 European countries. The availability of the complete and finalised suite means users can now review the standards as a coherent set rather than in isolation. Although it's useful to be aware that at a European level, we're currently undertaking a tidying up exercise to publish some limited early amendments, particularly to align some cross-references. But these should not distract anyone from starting to prepare for the transition. A common question is, when should the second generation Eurocodes be used in practice in the UK? A key date is the 30th of March 2028. This date, agreed across Europe, marks the formal date of withdrawal applicable to the first generation standards. Its relevance for the UK is set out in the national foreword to each new Eurocode. However, as explained in this video series, the use of the second generation Eurocodes will ultimately depend on how they are referenced in contracts and in the approved documents to the building regulations. I would encourage everyone using the first generation Eurocodes to start familiarising themselves with the changes and to take advantage of the technical information being made available. As users begin planning for the transition from the first generation Eurocodes, they will find that the second generation is more clearly structured. Content has been refined and the scope has been extended to support a wider range of design situations. An overview of the Eurocodes evolution programme and key structural and technical changes is also provided in a separate video series produced with support from WSP and BSI, available to watch via the QR code on the screen.
I'm Cara Ebanks, Senior Standards Manager for the Built Environment at BSI. As part of my role at BSI, I'm responsible for overseeing the national implementation of Eurocodes in the UK. In this section, myself and Deirdre will talk you through BSI's role and the publication schedule for UK National Annexes being developed alongside the second generation EN Eurocodes. BSI, as the UK National Standards Body, is a member of CEN and plays a key role in managing and supporting the committees responsible for drafting the UK National Annexes to the second generation Eurocodes, increasing market awareness and adoption. Mandate 515 was issued by the European Commission in 2012. DG GROW issued Mandate 515 to CEN to amend the first generation Eurocodes and extend their scope, initiating what became the second generation of the Eurocodes. Following this, under Chairman Steve Denton and managed by BSI, the CEN TC 250 Committee on Structural Eurocodes formally began work on the mandate, following preparatory and organisational phases.
I'm Deirdre Ferrie, a Lead Standards Development Manager at BSI, and I'm responsible for the management of National Committee B525, which oversees the UK input into the Eurocodes. Since 2023, the second generation EN Eurocodes have been publishing steadily and are now all available. Many of them will go through an early amendment stage, mainly to ensure consistent cross-referencing. At the same time, the corresponding UK National Annexes have been publishing alongside them and will continue to publish into 2027. Each National Annex carefully sets out the UK's decisions on matters left open for national choices within the EN Eurocodes. They are developed by BSI's highly experienced and valued technical committees, which draw on the expertise of industry representatives who also contribute at the European level. All UK national annexes that have already been published are available through BSI. By September 2027 at the latest, all remaining and necessary UK national annexes will be available, enabling users to prepare confidently for transition. During this period, it's important for designers and those commissioning design to stay aware of publication schedules and updates, as both first and second generation Eurocodes and their national annexes will coexist for a time. A detailed schedule of all published and forthcoming UK national annexes will be made available, including expected publication dates and draft consultation timings. This schedule will be made available and will support users with the information they need to plan ahead.
As chair of B526, the committee responsible for geotechnics, a common question that I am asked is, when should I start using the second generation Eurocodes? There is a coexistence period from 2023 to 2028. The reason for this prolonged coexistence period is to allow industry time to adapt to changes in the codes, allow guidance to be updated, teams to be trained, and projects to be planned with confidence. As outlined earlier in this video, there is a clear deadline for withdrawing the first generation Eurocodes. This gives industry the clarity it needs to get ready for the second generation codes. Organisations know how long they have to prepare and can decide when they should start to transition. The key date is 30th of March 2028, when the first generation Eurocodes and corresponding national annexes will be withdrawn. After that date, only the second generation Eurocodes will be in effect. This clarity allows organisations to plan their transition in a timely fashion. Another important question is, how will the second generation Eurocodes be used in practice? Each second generation Eurocode should be used with its corresponding second generation National Annex. The National Annex is an essential part of the system, providing the UK-specific parameters needed to apply the standards correctly and with confidence. Structural and geotechnical engineers should be aware that the changes to the head code, EN 1990, and the geotechnical code, EN 1997, will have a significant impact on the design of foundations, retaining structures, and other geotechnical structures. The second generation codes cover a broader range of geotechnical structures and will, hopefully, produce more economical designs. The focus now should be on practical preparation and, whether you're a long-standing user or new to Eurocodes, now is the time to engage and to prepare for what comes next.